Good morning and welcome to the McFreedom Mindset episode 4. This week all the way from France. And this is where we talk about the importance of thinking differently and, more importantly, acting consistently in order to achieve your McFreedom. So yes, why am I in France? Well, obviously for a holiday, but first of all I was here for a 4-day wedding. So apologise if I'm looking a bit piggy-eyed and a little croaky of voice, but it was between an Aussie and an English girl. So there was lots of quite hard partying for 4 days in a beautiful chateau. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you today about the importance of investing in relationships and what a return that investment has for you and for your business. And really there's two parts to it. The first part is about investing in your business relationships, in those people who you are working with, who work for you, your suppliers, your customers, obviously. But most importantly, I wanted to talk to you about investing in your team and really getting to know your team. I worked for a guy called Andrew Taylor, and he was just fantastic. He started off actually as my supervisor when I was a restaurant manager way back in the day in Bedford, and I just was always amazed throughout his career. He became chief exec of the business, of the UK business, and it didn't matter how many people he met or how high he rose in the company. He always knew people's names. He knew their partners' names. He knew their children's names. He knew what they really enjoyed doing when they weren't at work. It was just an amazing talent that I felt that he had. But it made people feel so special that he remembered them and he knew a little bit about them. And so often I think, as our business grows, sorry if I'm wandering about a bit here. We're on a stick. so my hand's moving a bit. But what it was that I loved about him was that it really did make it made people feel special. And when we get into our businesses and as our business grows, there is a tendency to not get to know the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th person in the business. We knew the first few who started with us, but we move further and further away, and people are, it's like we said, you're not employing a body, you're employing a heart and a mind. People need to feel that you know them as a person, and when you get to that point where you are, where they feel that you know them, they will follow you that much more. You invest in getting to know them, they will invest in helping you and your business to be successful. So business relationships, hugely important. Knowing your team, knowing what their aspirations are, massively important. Then the other side is obviously your personal relationships. And obviously I've just come from a wedding where people often say that that you spend way more time in planning the wedding than you do in planning the rest of your lives, the rest of the marriage, if you like. And that is true. There must have been, look, God knows how much planning went into this wedding. But what's really important is the investment in each other ongoing. And again, with business owners, sometimes we delay investing in our other halves and in our friends because we're doing all of this for them. We're working really hard for them, and all these long hours that we're putting in, all of these school concerts that we're missing, or nights out with friends that we're missing. It's all for the people that we love the most. But the truth is that the people that we love the most actually want time. They want us to invest a little bit of time in them. Nobody ever stood around a grave and said, "Oh, but he was a great businessman. He made lots of money," or she worked so hard. She worked every hour God sent. Nobody says that. They're always talking about you as a person. They're always talking about what how loving you were, or what a great father or mother or brother or sister. And they're the things that are really important. And I've had two really great events in the very recent past. One was my book launch, where the power of personal relationships for me really came to the fore. And I actually want to take this opportunity to thank all of you for your support with the book launch and getting Simple Logical Repeatable to #1. Thank you so much for that. But it really, for me, showed the strength of relationships and the importance and the power of having those strong relationships in your business. And then obviously the other event was the wedding, where seriously people came from all over the world to France for this couple's wedding. How much must they have loved them to do that? How much must they have felt that they had invested in, that the couple had invested in them, for them to invest so much to come to France? So yes, that's really it for today. Invest in relationships, and they will pay dividends for you, for your business, for your life, and obviously for your family and friends. Do one thing this week: take your other half out for a date night. If you hadn't already planned one, do it. And I'll see you next week, all the way from La France. Vive la France! Bonjour to Le McFreedom, to your McFreedom. Have a great week. See you next week. Mwah. Au revoir.